Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
See ya, D-Mac. Hold on, Matt Ryan. D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown. How about that Heisman, Mark Jones? How do you like it? Wide open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Candy hangover, anybody? How you feeling today? I didn't eat a single piece of candy yesterday. Phil Elson here, Ty Richardson, the ESPN Arkansas studios. Start of November, start of the month that you're supposed to remember, right? This is when you're supposed to play your best football. They want to remember November. How you feeling today, Ty? Did you crush some candy last night while you were sitting around handing candy out to kids dressed as ghosts?
I was watching Thursday Night Football, man. After a few television episodes.
That's what Halloween was for you.
Yeah, and I watched
You didn't watch Little Shop of Horrors or The Lost Boys?
No, and a tad bit of the Baylor game. That's about it. But I went to bed about 9:45, 9:30, and again, like you, I didn't have a piece of candy yesterday, so I don't have the hangover. Is there a sugar hangover?
Oh, there definitely is.
Okay.
There are kids all across the state right now feeling exactly that way.
Okay.
And they're mostly happy they don't have to go to school. At least where I live, they're not in school today. So, I'm feeling good about what we got going on this weekend. We had two unbeatens play yesterday. One of them stayed unbeaten. That's I don't call them your Baylor Bears. They're your dad's Baylor Bears. App State suffered their first loss this season. So. How many unbeatens does that make now? Is it seven? 7 unbeatens? You certainly don't have unbeatens playing tomorrow at Reynolds Razorback Stadium for a 3 o'clock kick, where the Hogs tried to begin to make this the November to remember. What would you like to remember about this November? I think it would be, where things started to turn around for a football program that is, I said stuck in neutral a few days ago. Somebody texted to us and said, I don't know if you could say stuck in neutral. It feels a little bit stuck in reverse right now. The program right now just spinning its wheels backwards is what it feels like. But maybe, just maybe, tomorrow against Mississippi State is where things start to turn around. What do you think about this game that we'll be watching tomorrow? We'll give you our score prediction later on in the show. We want to know what you think. 877-377-6963. Robbie in San Diego's already texted in his score prediction. He says Mississippi State 35-24, and that would be a cover for Mississippi State. The line has stayed pretty steady at 7.5 virtually the entire week. So what will it take for Arkansas to win? The first question of the day is the question everybody's got going into tomorrow. Who's going to be your quarterback? Who is going to be the guy that everything starts with? And for Mississippi State, I mean, they had the same question throughout this season. Was it going to be Tommy Stevens? Is it going to be Garrett Schrader? The question mostly answered because of Stevens' injured shoulder from a few weeks ago, and it's been Schrader, the running quarterback, for the last couple of weeks. For Arkansas, I mean, you're dealing with a quarterback that had a shoulder injury as well, Ben Hicks. That's why he wasn't on the field against Alabama. Conceivably, that shoulder has healed to where he is an option to start. John Stephen Jones, KJ Jefferson expected to get some playing time. If you believe what Chad Morris said, they're drawing up some packages for the two of them to put their talents on display. You think you're going to see 3 quarterbacks tomorrow? I think there's a legitimate possibility you might.
It's definitely a possibility with what we've seen so far this season, and also factoring to Mississippi State, going back between Stevens and Schrader. We mentioned this, that Keaton Thompson transferred at the beginning of the season, so that was a major blow for Mississippi State in terms of the quarterback depth chart when it was announced that Stevens won that job, and then you've had to deal with this injury. Schrader's come in as a true freshman. For Arkansas, yes, they've dealt with injuries with both Ben Hicks and Nick Starkel, but I think the competition has been more back and forth, not because of injuries, but because of inconsistencies. And I think that's why so many people are asking for John Stephen Jones or KJ Jefferson to get the shot tomorrow. We talked about it earlier this week. They both got reps with the ones. Chad Morris and Joe Craddock have done a lot of quarterback stuff with different guys this season, so I wouldn't read too much into it. But I'm really curious who they roll out tomorrow and the reaction of the fan base with whoever's announced the starting quarterback, because it's either going to be boos or it's going to be a lot of cheers, Phil.
And a really interesting matchup of running backs and a running quarterback in the case of Garrett Schrader from Mississippi State. Kylan Hill leads the SEC in rushing yards. And they weren't able to do much for him against Auburn, against Tennessee, or LSU. Never got more than 45 yards in either of those games. Mississippi State trying to crawl from behind in both of those games, but they let him tote the rock 21 times last week in the loss to A&M, and he ground up 150 yards, which is the most that he's gained in a game in an SEC against an SEC opponent. Schrader runs almost as often as Hill does in some games. So, I mean, offensively for Arkansas, the question is, who's your quarterback? Can your offensive line protect him at all, open up any holes? Can you get the ball to your skill position players so that they can do the things that you know they can do? Defensively, it's all about stopping the run, which has been a big bugaboo for Arkansas this year, especially when it comes from a running quarterback. You kind of wonder about also how much does Rakeem Boyd get a chance to tote the rock too? Because right now, teams are practically just daring Arkansas to throw, and they're going to do everything they can to stop Boyd. Do you think this game could be won on the ground by Arkansas at all? I
think that Arkansas has to establish some sort of running game to have a chance against Mississippi State. What's interesting about these two ball clubs, Arkansas is 108th in scoring defense, Mississippi State is 98th. So this is not some of the better defenses that these two programs have put on the field the last couple of years. And I know the over-under is 58. I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair, Phil. And as far as running the ball, Colton Jackson retiring early this week affects the offensive line, but he's been injured at periods this season, concussion and other stuff. So it's not like this is a starter that's been in every single game. All of a sudden he's out for the year and it completely screws up the chemistry. They've had to deal without him a little bit. Hopefully they'll be able to adjust accordingly, get some running lanes open. And I think just the element of the potential with John Stephen Jones or KJ Jefferson, if one of those guys was to start or get some playing time, opens up just maybe the slightest bit of hole. You saw it against Alabama, and I'll go back to this SB Nation article written by Adam Ford. He talked about the simple complexity added when you have a running quarterback, whether it's the inverted veer, whether it's the read option, whether it's a slew of plays that they ran. There's an element, once again, that John Stephen Jones has that Starkel and Hicks do not. That's the ability to pull it and go. You saw it a little bit, so we'll see what happens on Saturday if he's given the opportunity, if they can take advantage of Mississippi State overplaying Rakeem Boyd and Devwalt Whaley.
It's just funny. Like the couple times that you saw Nick Starkel try to run the RPO, what happened? Fumbles twice. Not able to stick it in the running back's gut properly and didn't pull it out at the right time. So right then and there shows how you got a guy with a big arm, but might still not be the right sort of player to lead your team as the quarterback. And he's the odd man out right now. That's the shocking part about this. It felt like going into camp that Starkel was being held back more than anything by just the lack of experience with Chad Morris and with this offense. But now he's the odd man out. He's the one guy that nobody really wants to see on the field tomorrow. Got some text coming in here. Justin in Van Buren wants to know if Hicks' shoulder injury is the reason he can't throw downfield. I don't think that's the reason. I think it's actually his arm strength has been lacking, or just does lack a little bit. Matt in Ozark, was he the big winner of the Bud Light Cooler?
He did, yeah. Matt Burnett down there in Ozark, going to meet him tomorrow on the way up to the game. He got a chance to win it this morning. We're going to do giveaways. For those who don't know, we're doing giveaways every Monday from now on, and we'll announce the winners on Friday. So Matt was the winner of the Bud Light Cooler, Phil.
So we're doing. Is it a giveaway or a cooler every Monday?
Nah, not a cooler. We'll give away. We got a bunch of stuff here that we need to give away to our great listeners.
Oh, it's time to unload things out of the office. That's what it is.
Well, I mean, it was like Bell Point gave it to us. Appreciate those guys and gals over at Bell Point Beverages offering that cooler. We're like, it's just sitting here in the office. And I was like, Tommy, let's give it away. So, and he was like, absolutely. We got a ton of good listeners and ton of good callers and texters, so he was all for it. So we're going to start doing that on Monday with the giveaways being on Friday.
So we should at least let Matt as well, to empty his thoughts here on our text line. He says, tomorrow's game gives me some hope to see redshirt freshmen play, but he wonders if they win. He doesn't think so. Just wants to see some competent play calling from the staff and roster changes at the appropriate time in the game. Hey, that sounds like coaching. I'd like to see some of that as well. We didn't mention Hunter Henry. You're going to see Hudson Henry will be out there. So be interested to see a new skill player get out there, and maybe he can do the things that we expect him to do. Halftime brought to you by Breeden RV in Van Buren. Picture perfect camper weather going on right now. Year-end clearance sale at Breeden RV with travel trailers starting at $99.95 and fifth wheels starting under $30,000. Of course, all new customers get maintenance for life for free at Breeden RV in Van Buren. Go to BreedenRVs.com for more info. Stay tuned. Halftime continues with some news around Arkansas athletics.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
And I think another element of it is the Arkansas Razorback football program has been spoiled. Now, just before you start freaking out, so let me explain. They've been spoiled because their past four quarterbacks essentially were fantastic quarterbacks. Ryan Mallett, Tyler Wilson, Brandon Allen, Austin Hill. You've had a good run of good quarterbacks. And the fact that you don't have one right now is really making you struggle.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Tri-Hill Turf offers the highest quality turf and pest services. Hey, you say those are big words. Well, let's see. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has a company agronomist, state and nationally certified technicians, free soil testing, and they even have precision GPS guided application equipment. Now that's high tech. For over 30 years, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has used the latest application technology, and they strive for turf and pest excellence. They are your local turf and pest experts. Call the local team at 782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest.
Do you own apartment complexes, condos, and rental property? Then you have made a great investment. Now make another great decision by calling Trinity Multifamily to help you maximize your return. Trinity Multifamily offers full-service property management, marketing, leasing, sales, and all the services to make your cash flow. Take the hassles and frustrations out of ownership and call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
If you have experience transporting frozen and refrigerated goods and want to be part of a trucking family with insurance and be home every week, you need to contact Brent Higgins Trucking. Since 1997, Brent Higgins Trucking in Mulberry has been proudly delivering to and from various areas of the United States, including but not limited to Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Brent Higgins Trucking, where you're a name, not a number. Contact them at 479-997-2366 or at BrentHigginsTrucking.com.
We did it again. Evans Body Shop has been voted the best independent collision repair shop in the River Valley for the second year in a row. None of it would have been possible without our top-notch crew and our customers, friends, and family that take their time to vote for us. We would like to say thank you. We are humbled by the continued loyalty and support from our community and staff and will continue to go above and beyond every day. Evans Body Shop, 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren. Come by today and see why we say
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Fall is here, and at Frank Bro Furniture in November, now is the time to buy. Come in and take advantage of our many made-in-the-USA products. Lift chairs, we have them. Sectionals, reclining sofas, and loves, we have them. Bedroom furniture and mattresses, we have them. We also carry a variety of appliances and TVs. In November, come in and receive 10% off on any purchase. Ask us about our financing programs. We have several options that will meet your needs. Only at Frank Rowe Furniture. Best seats in the house.
This is Mark Hurst. Did you know that tooth decay is the most common chronic disease among children and teenagers between the ages of 6 and 19? The good news is tooth decay is largely preventable and easily treated if diagnosed early. At Hurst Family Dental Care, we use digital radiography to help detect tooth decay as early as possible. Give us a call today at 474-1972 to schedule your exam and cleaning. Hurst Family Dental Care, a name you know and a name you can trust.
It's football season and the right play is at Hertz Car Sales, 2810 Midland Boulevard. Their business is quality used cars at a great price with their #1 goal of passing the savings on to you. The latest makes and models, low mileage vehicles with an overall experience that can't be matched. Make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard today and find that there's no better way to buy your next vehicle. Call them today at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromhertz.com. Hertz Car Sales. What are you waiting for?
ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Here's Jones on a keeper. Out over the 40 to midfield. Matt Jones may take it to the house. And the dunk.
You know, you hear so often that Arkansas just, because of the league, because of being a small state, that Arkansas can't win the SEC in football. But you know what? That's just not true. It isn't true at all. Because, hey, maybe football is different from the other sports. I don't know. Baseball competes in the SEC every single year. Still haven't won the SEC championship, but that doesn't mean they can't. Arkansas women's soccer did it yesterday for the first time ever. So, I mean, if soccer can win an SEC title, if women's cross country can win their 7th straight SEC title, which they clinched yesterday, you can definitely win the SEC in football. You know what it takes? It takes the right set of circumstances. It takes the right coach at the top of the pyramid, and it takes a few great players in order to do it. And there are great athletes in this state, or that are from nearby Arkansas, that if they choose the Razorbacks, you can do some special things. Who would have thought that soccer, which is not a sport that you think of with when it comes to Arkansas? You know, what are the other sports we usually bring up, Ty, when people start saying, football stinks this year, Arkansas athletics is in total disarray? So go ahead and list off the sports that we always mention.
It's baseball and track and field. Those are like the only ones that Arkansas is associated with continuous dominance. That's
right. Women's basketball, by the way, is going to compete for an SEC championship this year. And if they don't, if they finish, in the middle of the pack, it'll feel a little bit disappointing. And then next year they will compete for an SEC championship. But women's basketball is on that list too. I don't think there's any doubt. I don't think there's any doubt that Arkansas can eventually win an SEC championship. It's just a matter of the right circumstances. So Arkansas soccer is ranked 6th in the country. Beat Tennessee 3-1 yesterday. I think that was their 7th straight win. Shockingly, it wasn't by shutout. They've outscored opponents something like 48-6 for the entire season. So they finished 1 point ahead of second-place South Carolina and will be the number 1 seed in the SEC tournament after finishing as the runner-up for the last 3 years. So congratulations to Colby Hale and his program, because it's worth celebrating no matter what when Arkansas wins any SEC championship. But for it to be the first time that soccer did it, that deserves a little bit more than just the tip of the cap.
Especially a team that was predicted 6th in the preseason, for them to overcome what the perception was about the soccer team to win it. They did it on the road too. That always feels good when it's on the road and you can clinch. I know sometimes it's better when at home in front of your fans, but to do it in that dramatic fashion, able to do it, and they only finished 1 point ahead of South Carolina, so they needed that win against Tennessee, which is pretty cool. Now they're going into the SEC tournament as a 1 seed, Phil. The last 3 years, they finished as the runner-up. Good stat from Matt Jones of Whole Hog Sports. So I'm wondering how much this potentially could propel them to not only win the regular season SEC championship, but the tournament as well.
And that tournament begins on Sunday in Orange Beach, Alabama.
Not a bad place to be playing soccer. There's a place in Orange Beach called the Hangout. For those who have ever been kind of that area, they have what set up during the summer, Phil. They have sand soccer out back, which is a lot of fun. It is a hoot and a holler back there. So it's a really good time. They have a big festival out there. A bunch of teenagers, college, post-grads go to. But what I thought the coolest part, just besides the atmosphere itself of the Hangout, was the beach soccer out back. It's a cool place to just be.
Eventually, maybe beach soccer makes it as an official sanctioned sport at Arkansas. They should be doing beach volleyball. If it's a sanctioned sport in the Olympics, it should be a college sport as well. Should be perfect weather for soccer over the weekend as well. I'm a little nervous about the weather because when I woke up this morning, it was like 30 degrees. It's like 70 degrees in New York today. What's going on here? Where my kids live in Edmonton, it is warmer than it is in Arkansas. For crying out loud, I thought that would never happen. Literally never for all 365 days of the year. Edmonton should always be colder than Arkansas.
How does that make sense? It's in Canada.
Way up there, too.
How does that make
Not quite
sense?
Arctic Circle, but,
Yeah.
Not that far away from the Northwest Territories. So 68 degrees, 64 degrees, Orange Beach, Alabama. Have yourself an SEC tournament. You did watch Thursday Night Football last night. Speaking of undefeated teams, 49ers continue to stay atop the West Division with an 8-0 record. They beat the Cardinals in Arizona 28-25. Is somebody going to stop saying that Jimmy Garoppolo is just being saved by his defense? The guy threw 4 touchdowns and completed 28 of 37 passes for 317 yards. And Dre Greenlaw got out there. He's having himself a pretty good rookie season, isn't he?
Yeah, not too bad for the rookie out there in San Francisco.
He's in trouble. And just keeps going backward where he's tapped down by Dre Greenlaw.
I saw a statistic earlier this season that the San Francisco 49ers put out. He's like the 3rd or 4th fastest guy on the roster, Phil.
Wow.
Which is pretty incredible to me. You think about a linebacker that's like 4.4-ish speed, just an absolute speed demon out there. And the linebacker mold, you think of NFL, you think of just the traditional Brian Urlacher, Ray Lewis. It's become of less of that because the speed that's being put out there, whether it's wide receivers, running backs, tight ends, you need quicker, shiftier guys. And Dre Greenlaw, while he's suffered some injuries at the University of Arkansas, hopefully he can stay healthy. He kind of fits that mold of the hybrid type linebacker safety. He played safety not in college, in high school, but he can fill it up when in terms of the stat sheet and just the ability to stay with some of the quicker guys in the NFL definitely gives Kyle Shanahan a weapon on his defense, Phil.
Now, he's played every game this season. I don't think he has started yet, but you could say that he just had his best game as a pro, first career sack for Dre Greenlaw. So congratulations going out to Dre and the Niners for continuing their incredibly hot start. Got a text in here from Cody in Mountain Home. He was talking weather here. He says you'd think it would be warmer considering the massive dumpster fire that is Arkansas football. Hey, soccer won an SEC title, Cody. Cross country won themselves an SEC championship too. So I guess they're hot as well, and then maybe that's why you'd think it would be warmer. Baseball, and you're asking me what my favorite baseball costume was. I'm having difficulty remembering who wore what. The baseball team practiced in costumes yesterday. Now, you keep in mind here, Ty, I used to dress. Now, I know the other day I let it out that I dressed as an Atari 2600 console, I think at the age of 8 or 9 for Halloween. But probably my most often used costume was just being a baseball player. And then these baseball players are dressing as something else. Why don't you just put on the uniform and dress like that for Halloween? Now, here's the other thing, too. I don't think it was a real practice because fall practice ended last week. Dave Van Horn, in fact, today is having a media session to wrap up fall practice. But it looked like they had a workout. And I couldn't tell who was the Forrest Gump because they ran a race in one of the track areas inside the Fowler Center where baseball practices indoors, and I knew I saw somebody dressed like Forrest Gump. Although I also saw, I think Hunter Yurichek was dressed as Forrest Gump.
Was
yesterday.
He really? Okay.
Yeah, Pauline Love, who's one of the assistant coaches for women's basketball, tweeted a picture of her with Hunter Yurichek, and he was Forrest Gump, right, with the Bubba Gump hat on. He had himself a box of chocolates, had the plaid shirt, very tight. And the socks hiked all the way up. It looked like he was ready to go running. One of the baseball players did the same. This one was good. Marshall Denton, the side-arming right-hander, he dressed as a shirtless firefighter and had the suspenders on, covering up only his nipples. So, I mean, that was an interesting costume for Marshall to wear. And that's good for a reliever because relievers are called firemen in baseball. So I think that worked well for him.
So the ones that I noticed, Jacob Nesbitt was dressed up as the Flash. Heston Kjerstad was dressed up as one of the Average Joe guys from Dodgeball. And then, let's see the other one. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Kaysen Tillett was dressed up. I don't know if he was Goose or Maverick from Top Gun, but it's a Little Rock Christian kid. There wasn't like, I need to be better about recognizing baseball players. Just like, and again, they saw like quick flashes during like the video and stuff. But there was definitely some good costumes, and I thought it was good for. I don't know if that was John Thomas's idea, Dave Van Horn, Matt Hobbs, or whoever. But whoever thought of it, them working out in the costumes was a pretty funny get, Phil.
I'm sure that wasn't Dave Van Horn's idea. Dave comes up with some really good ideas as far as how who to put in what spot in the lineup, certain series to try to schedule out of the SEC, moving this guy from one position to another, making the pitching change at the right time. Telling the team to dress in costumes is
that's his forte.
Probably not one of Dave's things.
No.
It was funny too because I would have liked to see some of the other coaches in whatever outfits they wore. I don't know. Maybe Matt Hobbs would have worn a Yankee uniform. Now that he has interviewed with him, and we'll be waiting to find out. Hey, all people with Arkansas baseball are sort of waiting to find out what'll happen with Matt Hobbs. Halftime brought to you by The Fence Man, specializing in custom installations, doing it for over 40 years. Gates, controlled access card readers. The Fence Man will be there for a quick, no obligations quote. 479-782-3936. Ask for Henry, The Fence Man, a division of Quantum Property Services. Talking with Aaron Torres after the break. Stay tuned on Halftime.
Good coaches win. Great coaches cover. You're listening to Halftime.
Great camping weather is just around the corner, so at Breeden RV in Van Buren, we're having our year-end clearance sale right now. Get great deals on new RVs like travel trailers that start at $99.95 and fifth wheels starting under $30,000. Breeden RV is the only dealer that gives our new customers maintenance for life for free. We also have a great selection of pre-camp trailers and RVs to choose from. Now is the time to camp, and now is the time to let Breeden RV in Van Buren show you just how easy it can be. Breeden RV, your home for maintenance for life.
Oh, that's an RV.
Rediscover old world cuisine, charm, and a romantic atmosphere at Wiedeker Weinkeller Restaurant. Wiedeker's is the perfect treat for any occasion, whether it's close friends, family, or a perfect night with your special someone. Enjoy unique Swiss, German, and American entrees while sampling Wiedeker's award-winning wines. Celebrating 52 years as an Arkansas tradition, Wiedeker Wine Cellars and Weinkeller Restaurant open 7 days a week on Highway 186, 4 miles south of I-40 at exit 41.
Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative is excited to introduce Wave Rural Connect. They're bringing state-of-the-art high-speed fiber internet plus TV and phone services right into the homes of all members. If you're an Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative member, go to waveruralconnect.com to sign up. That's waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Look your best with Perfecto Cleaners at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Count on same-day service, easy drive-through cover drop-off and pickup window, and fast turnaround on alterations. Perfecto Cleaners always goes the extra mile to ensure your clothes look their best, making you look your best. Be sure to clip their coupons in the yellow pages, and as always, in by 9 and out by 5 Monday through Friday. Perfecto Cleaners, just off Jenny Lind at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Perfecto Cleaners, making you look your best.
The best TV experience in the nation is available locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Dish has the Hopper 3, the most advanced DVR, and delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recording anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now, WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or stop by our location at the corner of Phoenix and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, or visit us online at shopwownow.com. Get the Hopper 3 today by calling WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474. Or online at shopwownow.com.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your evening on the Avenue. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
McFadden, the number 2 rusher in the SEC behind Kenny Irons. Boy, he hits that hole. Upfield he goes. Watch out. McFadden at the 25, 15, 5. Touchdown.
Go to the Cherokee Casino hotline. I was going to call him our Friday friend, but he's our friend every day of the week. Aaron Torres of the Aaron Torres Sports Podcast. Fox Sports Radio, Kentucky Sports Radio. AT, what's going on?
I'm just living my best life out here, Phil. How you guys doing over there in Arkansas?
Doing well. I get to chide you now on the air for guaranteeing the under of Mississippi State, Texas A&M last week.
Oh, my goodness. I meant one team. I meant one team was going to hit the under, not both.
That's exactly what happened. I got a text in the middle of that game from Aaron apologizing for that pick because he knew that was my Moneyball pick, Ty, and I went with it. What did I say when I made that pick? I said, I'm doing this because Aaron Torres said so. So thanks, buddy.
Well, listen, I'm sorry that your kids can no longer go to college, Phil, but we're gonna get better this week, and we're gonna improve, and hopefully the Hogs will too.
Yeah, hopefully so. So do you got a lock that you want to go with? What pick would you have would you be most confident in if I'm going to allow myself to go with one of your picks later on in the show?
Listen, I'm a wounded cat in the corner licking my wounds right now. It was a tough week. My intern who puts together all my graphics and everything for me told me to keep my chin up. Listen, I'll tell you one that I do like. I don't want you to bet your kid's college fund or what's left of it on it, but I actually like Utah -3.5 at Washington this week. Utah, I don't think people realize. First of all, I picked them to make the college football playoff. No big deal. They gave up 23 total points the entire month of October. 23 points. Arkansas can't go a quarter without giving up 23 points. They gave up 23 points in October, and they played real offenses. Washington State is a top 15 offense nationally. They held them to 13 points. Oregon State's averaging over 30. They held them to 7. So Washington, it's always a tough place to play, and it worries me a little bit because Washington is coming off a bye. But I just think Utah is playing spectacular defense right now.
Well, and look, I mean, there's been this narrative about the Pac-12 being a lower-level football conference, and maybe this year it's not quite playing out that way. And there's a really good shot for a Pac-12 team to get into the college football playoff, especially after Oklahoma's loss last weekend.
Well, I'll tell you, I think this weekend's going to define it because if you look at the remaining schedules, for people who don't follow outside of the SEC or whatever, Oregon is 7-1. Only loss, obviously, was to opening night to Auburn on basically the final play of the game. And then Utah is 7-1. They lost at USC in a game that, frankly, they outplayed them. They more yardage, everything like that. But the reason I bring it up is because I think that, one, if both these teams win, the toughest game remaining on their schedule prior to the Pac-12 championship is this weekend for both Oregon and Washington. But I would also say this. I don't know if either of them will finish 12-1 and be Pac-12 champion. But I think that there is no argument to be made that at the very least, top to bottom, the Pac-12 is certainly better than the ACC this year, and I think, frankly, it's better than the Big 12 this year. So, I think the thing that the Pac-12 struggles with is they don't have that Clemson or the traditionally Oklahoma at the top of the conference right now. That's also why it's really important that USC, if they do go in another direction, nails this coaching search, because every conference is at its best when its best teams are playing really well. But I don't buy the narrative that the Pac-12 is some third-rate conference. I think, frankly, top to bottom, it's probably third right now behind the SEC and the Big Ten.
We're talking with Aaron Torres on the Cherokee Casino Hotline. Aaron, I was watching the OU game with a big-time Sooner fan last week, and he kept repeating during the game, our national championship hopes are done. The college football playoff is out of the picture. But college football, as we've seen over the years, has a unique way of reformatting our opinions on who can make it to the national championship. After the loss in Manhattan, do you think Oklahoma can still find their way back to the college football playoff?
Yeah, I do, Ty. I was actually a little surprised that people took the reaction that your friends did. I saw a lot of people saying things to that effect. I don't buy it. And listen, we've had now 3 weeks in a row a top 10 team lose to an unranked team: Georgia, South Carolina, Wisconsin, Illinois, Oklahoma, Kansas State. And so, listen, I think, yeah, if we have a situation where LSU and Alabama, the winner goes undefeated, the loser loses that only game, and Ohio State and Penn State, one of them finishes undefeated, one of them finishes with one loss, and Clemson's undefeated, then yeah, like it's going to be harder for Oklahoma to get back into the playoff. But if we learn one thing watching college football basically our entire lives, the reason that we love this sport is because crazy stuff happens all the time. And so, listen, I can't sit here and look at LSU's schedule and say that if they get by Alabama, they're going to lose a game, because it doesn't look like they will. Alabama, the toughest game on their schedule would be against Auburn, which has really struggled against elite teams this year. But I'm just saying, like, losses do happen. Oklahoma, by the way, 3 of the last 4 years has made the college football playoff as a one-loss Big 12 champ. A couple of years there's been the Big 12 championship game. Last year there was. So I don't buy it. But obviously, look, yeah, if Alabama and LSU play the way they're capable of, Penn State, Ohio State, it'll be tough to make an argument. But tell your friend, relax. We got a lot of football left over these next 5 or so weeks.
Talking about an important game this weekend out of the SEC East, world's largest cocktail party, Florida, Georgia. There's been some great instances, great memories from the game. I think the one that stands out to me was 2007 when Noshawn Marino goes over the top and the entire Georgia football team comes out on the field and celebrate. Now, Georgia is favored in this game. Florida's got a great opportunity here. Dan Mullen's got a ripe win for the picking if he really, really wants to beat a rival on a huge stage. Why are you buying the Bulldogs this week, Aaron?
Yeah, I think it's a few things. One, first of all, Kirby Smart has had insane success against Dan Mullen, and that's obviously dating back to when Kirby Smart was the defensive coordinator at Alabama. And I think there's a fair argument to be made that Kirby Smart just had way more talent than Dan Mullen in most of those seasons. But I think it's that. I also do think that we'll see something from this Georgia offense that we haven't seen, or we'll see more explosion or more risk-taking because, listen, let's be honest, the last 3 weeks for Georgia, they lose to South Carolina at home in a game that, let's be honest, they probably shouldn't have lost, even though they did. They play Kentucky in a monsoon where they're just trying to run the ball on every play and get out of there with whatever win they can get. And then they have a bye week. And it was just one of those things where during the bye week, this whole thing of, the offense is stagnated and, everything's changed since the coordinator changed. And it's like, I don't buy it. I think Georgia just plays a brand of football. First of all, statistically, they're not a bad defense. They just don't run as many plays in this kind of era of tempo and fast speed and stuff. They just don't run as many plays. So I just think the Georgia offense is going to be tired of hearing how lousy they are. The Georgia defense is going to be phenomenal. And I don't think it's going to be like a 30-6 Georgia win, but I could see something like 21-10, 17-7, something like that.
Aaron, we got about a minute left here, and you know what I'm excited about next week? The college football playoff poll is released for the first time. And it made me think.
You're going to say Arkansas basketball.
Well, yeah, Arkansas basketball next Tuesday, too, but this is going to be just a football interview for right now.
Okay, let's do it.
We don't really talk about the polls very much anymore, and I'm relieved by that. I feel like the college football playoff poll has turned the two formerly major polls into exactly what they really are, which is just conversation piece.
100%. And you know what I've actually liked this year, and I don't know if it's just because ballots are public or whatever, is I'm proud, and I'm not a pollster myself. I don't vote in any of the polls. I'm proud of the pollsters for kind of taking what we see on the field and adjusting their polls accordingly, you know. And so there were years, guys, and we all three of us have covered this sport for a very long time, where, you know, let's be honest, if a team started the year number one and they didn't lose, well, you know, until somebody knocks them off, we can't move. Why? That's dumb. Clemson's been terrible for half this year. Just because they don't play anybody doesn't mean they deserve to be the number one team in the country. So, Phil, I agree. I'm going to be fascinated. Obviously, we won't know until we have this weekend's results what the top four will be. But I also just think it's really cool that even though we're talking about the polls less, that pollsters are more willing to say, hey, Clemson's not playing well right now. Hey, and LSU is playing well right now. Let's adjust this based on what we see in the field. I think that's been a pretty cool kind of change over the last couple of years.
Aaron, I always appreciate you, man. We'll be talking Arkansas basketball next week, no doubt. Have a great weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Have a good weekend.
Aaron Torres from the Aaron Torres Sports Podcast. Ty, you got those cold Coors Lights on ice yet? Got the Blue Mountains?
Beer of Saturday mornings, cold lagered, cold filtered, cold package, always cold. When the mountains turn blue, you know your beer is as cold as the Rockies. Phil, what do you always do when the mountains turn blue?
Yesterday I said boo. Today I'm just grabbing two.
Exactly right. Coors Light, made to chill.
Going to wrap up the first hour of halftime, so stick around on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Good coaches win. Great coaches cover. You're listening to Halftime.
Eagle Crest Golf Course is open, and winter rates are now in effect. Just $35 to enjoy Eagle Crest Golf Course, card included. Winter rates are back, and Eagle Crest is ready for you. Lush zoysia fairways, beautiful bent grass greens, and the best views in the River Valley. Just $35, card included. So get your golf buddies together and head to Eagle Crest Golf Course. Winter rates just $35. Eagle Crest Golf Course, Highway 64, just east of Alma.
Do you hear that Coors Light being poured? It's the perfect temperature. How can I tell just based on the sound? I can't. But I can see that the mountain on the can is blue. And when the mountain is blue, your Coors Light is perfectly cold. Coors Light is cold lagered for a crisper taste, cold filtered for brightness and clarity, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. Doesn't that sound good? 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half-price. And all beers on tap are half-price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
I am a veteran. I lost both legs in Vietnam.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
My victory was getting my benefits and a good education.
DAV helps veterans of every generation get the benefits they've earned.
I'm a veteran. I didn't want to admit it, but I had PTSD.
So veterans can reach victories, great and small.
My victory was finding help and learning that I wasn't alone.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
You've worked hard your whole life anticipating the day you could finally retire. If that day is near, there are 5 things you need to do. Spend wisely, understand your retirement plan distribution options, plan for your required minimum distributions, know your Social Security options, and consider phasing. Call Brad Lewis at United Financial Advisors to discuss these steps in detail at 242-7466 or through our website at ufadvisors.net.
Securities and advisory services offered through Royal Alliance Associates, member FINRA SIPC. United Financial Advisors is a marketing destination.
Hey, dads, do you have an athlete in your house that is looking to take their skills to the next level? Excel Speed Training at the Fort Smith Athletic Club has the proven results to maximize your athlete's potential. Designed for both male and female athletes of all ages and various sports to improve mobility, endurance, agility, and vertical jump. Take your game to the next level with Excel Speed Training. Call Mike Johnson at 479-926-0193. That's Mike at 479-926-0193 at the Fort Smith Athletic Club.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while or you haven't had the best of experience with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney in Family Dentistry. They take care of it all. Crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. They even offer oral consciousness sedation available for your comfort. That's Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today, 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
ESPN 95.3. Touchdown! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
That's Hammonds. Has the edge, has the 50. Hammonds down the sideline. Inside the 20. He'll take it. Touchdown. Razorbacks. Hammonds breaks it. A 64-yard TD.
Want your score predictions for Arkansas, Mississippi State? You can text them to us. You can call us and let us know. 877-377-6963 is our Cherokee Casino hotline. I'm still kind of sitting on that score prediction until the end of the show. It'd be nice to actually do a score prediction instead of what we did last week, which is just kind of ball up the box score and throw it out before Arkansas even played Alabama.
I think a lot more people are anticipating this matchup with Mississippi State being closer. Now, I don't know how many fans are going to predict a win for Arkansas, but I think it's okay to expect this game to be closer than what you saw when Auburn came in 2 weeks ago and then when you traveled to Tuscaloosa last week.
Troy and Harrison says 27-16 Arkansas. Man, I got to be honest. I think looking at Arkansas's opportunities to hold Mississippi State under 20 points as dubious at best. I know you're guaranteeing a lot of points in this one, aren't you, Ty? What's the over-under line? I didn't see the point line on this.
58 is the over-under last I saw, so we'll talk about that a little later. Scoring defense-wise, 108th for Arkansas, 98th for Mississippi State. I know the offenses haven't been great on the other side. I just have a gut feeling it's going to be a high-scoring game tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be like it was in, 2016, when Arkansas traveled to Mississippi State and it was like 58-42. I don't know if it'll be that high, but I think they'll bust that 58, Phil.
Well, as we mentioned, Tuesday is when the college football playoff poll gets released for the first time, and so that conversation will continue throughout the rest of the month. And now the Heisman Trophy conversation is beginning to heat up. I feel like we've stayed away from that quite a bit up until right about now, and you feel like it does to me feel like Joe Burrow is a definitive guy in the lead. He's not running away with it right now, but he's, I think, head and shoulders ahead of anybody else as far as that goes. Of course, how he does against Alabama might really sort of decide if he's going to be the Heisman Trophy winner, because what does LSU have left on the schedule? Nothing that really frightens you all that much except for Bama.
Yeah. So he's beaten Auburn. He's beaten Florida. In the Florida game, he played really well. Auburn, he played well, but not what people were expected to in terms of putting the numbers up on the scoreboard. But everyone knows Alabama LSU is what people have been waiting for all season long. And the continuous harp when it comes to LSU is they don't have a quarterback that can get it done and beat the Crimson Tide. Can Burrow finally break through since the first time since Jarrett Lee and Jordan Jefferson in 2011? And let's not kid ourselves. There's no way they were the reason that LSU won that football game 9-6 in not Tiger Stadium. That was in Tuscaloosa back in 2011. They really haven't. Mettenberger showed some flashes a little bit, but they really haven't had a type of quarterback or an offense for that matter. That's one of the keys is Joe Brady coming in from the New Orleans Saints, him working alongside Steve Ensminger and figuring out that offense, figuring out Burrow's strengths, and just letting him loose. Just let him be a gunslinger. That's what he's shown to this point. We'll see if he can have that same type of impact when they go to Alabama next week, Phil.
Mississippi, Arkansas, and Texas A&M on the schedule for LSU after Alabama. So none of those other defenses are going to strike fear in the LSU offense. And to think about, look, Arkansas's got a shot, I think, at the very least, at potentially 3 wins in this last month. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but the schedule does work out with the way these teams are playing that you can get 3 victories. I think Mississippi State, Missouri are beatable teams, and no doubt Missouri, which right now is struggling, especially on the road, that'll be in Little Rock, and Western Kentucky. That's a dub. LSU, no chance. With Arkansas's troubles defending the pass, with the inexperience in the secondary, with everything LSU's got going on the offensive side, no chance. But then again, crazier things have happened, including games involving Arkansas and LSU.
I feel like the optimism is oozing out of me right now, and I'm kind of with you. I don't think they have much of a chance in that ball
It's really just sweat that's oozing out of you. It's not optimism.
That too, but you just look at these LSU-Arkansas games, even in the games that they won or LSU barely won, LSU had the talent 9 times out of 10 when you compare the two football teams. There's just something about that game. And I know that they don't get them directly after Alabama. They get Ole Miss, and then they get Arkansas. But Arkansas does have a bye before they face LSU, which could come into play. And I think that'd be big if they were able to at least make that game competitive. It is down in Tiger Stadium. How much is Eddie O's football team impacted if they lose to Alabama, regardless if it's close or if it's a large margin? Can they continue to play? Because they're still in the National College Football Playoff conversation. There's no question about it. There's a lot of people that said, well, LSU they beat Florida, they beat Auburn, they beat Texas. If their one loss was to Alabama on the road in a tough, hostile environment, close, I think there's a lot of apologists that would still put LSU in the college football playoff. So they're going to have a lot to play for down the stretch. It just really depends on if Arkansas can come out of that bye week and give them their best shot.
Continuing on the Heisman conversation, Jalen Hurts had himself a nice game last week in the loss against Kansas State. That's not a loss that knocks him back as far as Heisman consideration is concerned. And I don't think there's any doubt that Hurts will be on the stage at the end of the season, or at least in the New York Athletic Club. He'll be one of the finalists. But the guy that really threw himself into the conversation was Chase Young from Ohio State. Might be the top overall pick. What did he have? 4 sacks,
5 tackles,
5
for
TFLs, couple of forced fumbles against Wisconsin, which, up until then, that was supposed to be the game that everything that was leading up for Wisconsin. Tua, I don't know if Tua is in the conversation much longer. Just sitting out one game hurts you as much as playing a poor game is concerned. And he still is not a guarantee for next week against LSU. They're hoping to get him back for practice midweek. And as of right now, Nick Saban said he's a game-time decision for LSU. But you're not buying that, are you?
I think that's more gamesmanship than anything. But what you mentioned about Tua is exactly what we were talking about a couple months about this time last year. Because remember what happened with the Heisman Trophy voters when they saw Kyler Murray do what he did to Texas, and Tua was on the sidelines injured. Jalen Hurts had to lead back Alabama to beat Georgia in that SEC championship, and that's not Tua's fault. And I think a lot of us listening to the program right now think that Tua would have won that game regardless, but unfortunately, you have to see it with your 2 eyes. And Tua's injuries impact over the last 2 years have hurt his Heisman chances. Did last year when it took on Kyler Murray, and it could this year. But he's going to play in that LSU game unless just the injury is too much to handle. I don't think it is. I think Saban and his staff are going to keep it close to the vest, and it's going to be right around game time when they announce it. I would be shocked if he didn't give it his all when they take on LSU. I don't know who's going to win that game to this point, but Alabama has a much better chance if he's playing that football game, Phil.
And what's really interesting, too, also with Young from Ohio State getting injected into this Heisman conversation, you have 3 potential Heisman finalists on the same team at Ohio State. I can't remember even 2 finalists being from the same team.
So Leinart, Bush were the 2. Obviously, Leinart 104, Bush 105, and they had a couple stud wide receivers, but I don't know if they ever entered that Heisman level conversation. And the guys that Phil's referring to, he mentioned Justin Fields, also J.K. Dobbins, the running back, who's had an outstanding last couple games, really torched Wisconsin. The thing is, they're just not going to give it to a defensive player. Like we talked with Bill about this on Wednesday. There is just so much against the idea of giving it to a defensive player. It's been such a quarterback trophy these last few years. Ndamukong Suh did not win in 2009. Tyrann Mathieu didn't win in 2011. I think those were the 2 best college football players in those particular seasons. And even though Chase Young's probably going to go number 1 overall, and he's probably the best football player in America, this is just an offensive award at this point, and it's kind of a bummer too.
It's time to rewrite what the Heisman Trophy really is.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be for the best player in college football, but it as you're saying, I mean, it really isn't. Hasn't been for a long time. It's about the best offensive player and really the best quarterback.
I mean, like, what else are you supposed to do as a defensive lineman? Phil, 4 sacks, 5 TFL?
What are you supposed to do? Pick up the fumbles that he recovers and run them all in for touchdowns? I feel like, Charles Woodson wins the Heisman in 97. We got into that with Bill King the other day.
Played some offense, punt
so
returner.
Much of that was because of his ability to return punts.
Mm-hmm.
He did line up at wide receiver a few times, along with being, a shutdown corner. But he really won that award because he was a multifaceted athlete who happened to play defensive back and did other things. I feel like Young's got to return his own forced fumbles for a touchdown in order to be considered for real.
Yeah, 6'6". I mean, Colin Cowherd was making fun of him earlier this week, along with the clip that I tied in with Arkansas and Joel Klatt. He's just a stud. And like other Heisman Trophy competitors in years past, he's not only hurt because he's a defensive player, but because of other standouts on his own football team, Phil.
We got 1 more hour left this week of halftime. If you'd like to be part of it, we want your score predictions for Arkansas, Mississippi State, or anything else you want to talk about. 877-377-6963 is our Cherokee Casino hotline. You can hit me up on Twitter as well. I'm Phil Elson, PXP. He is at Thai Sports Radio, and we will be back with the second hour of halftime after this short break.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work, real work, working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
This time of year is hectic, and we know you have things to do and places to be. Southern Tire Mart can help you get there and save you money on America's most trusted brands like Michelin and BF Goodrich. Take advantage of our $29.95 oil change, which includes a 27-point vehicle inspection. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith today for quality Michelin and BF Goodrich tires and the best-in-class service. Get where you need to be with Michelin, BF Goodrich, and Southern Tire Mart.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Football Edition. This is how you say, game tonight. Bring Bud Light. Fantasy fees are due. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light, crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
At Chambers Bank, our Arkansas roots grow deep, and you can trust us as your partner for every banking need. From a simple checking account to your first home loan, whatever you need, big or small, we are here for you. With 18 convenient branches throughout the state and a full suite of online banking options, we will always be available when you need us. Family owned in Arkansas since 1930, Chambers is your full-service community bank. Bank with trust at Chambers Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 631520.
We can all use extra table space for holiday dinners. Stop at a Metters Lumber True Value for the 6-foot deluxe folding table at just $34.99. It's lightweight and easy to carry. It folds in half for easy storage and has a top that won't chip, peel, or stain. For extra seating, pick up one or more all-steel folding chairs too. Just $13.99 each. Head over to Metters Lumber True Value for these bargains of the month and other great deals while supplies last.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Clear sky tonight. Overnight low will drop down into the upper 20s, or a pretty nippy start to our Friday. Sunny skies, our high temperatures warmer, right around 55. Saturday, sun-filled skies, our high temperatures in the low to mid 50s, and we're looking at more sunshine for Sunday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Radio station.
KERX, Paris Fort Smith, from the Bush and Bushlight Studios. This is ESPN 95.3.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
See ya, D-Mac. Hold on, Matt Ryan. D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown. How about that Heisman, Mark Jones? How do you like it? Wide open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Time to wrap the week up with our final hour of halftime here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Elson, Ty Richardson. Cherokee Casino hotline open for you, 877-377-6963. So let's take a look at some of the score predictions that our listeners have come up with here. Hog Fins and Alma says 32-9 State. He thinks Mississippi State will set the record for most rushing yards in a game against, I don't know if he means the Mississippi State record or the record against Arkansas.
Both. When in doubt.
He's going both ways. You'd think that State would score more than 32 points if they set some sort of a rushing record. He doesn't think Arkansas gets into the end zone, and instead has to settle for three field goals. Aaron in Clarksville just texted in 38-27 Mississippi State. He has trouble trusting the offensive line and the quarterback to be able to get the victory. And of course, he does add he hopes he's wrong, which I think most people that are coming with a prediction for Mississippi State would hope they're wrong. Although, Ty, don't you feel like there are some fans out there who are just hoping for a total, utter collapse in this last month? The people that want Chad Morris off their lawn, you know, I'm sure they're Arkansas fans, but I'm sure that there is more than a small pocket who are hoping for an utter collapse, so that in their minds there would be a complete house cleaning.
You remember that large contingency of LSU fans that were rooting for Les Miles to lose so they could move on, and it ended up finally happening. They went to Eddie O, and now he's taking over, and we'll see what happens by the end of this year. But while it's not this exactly the same type of situation, Miles, it never looked like they were going to get over that last bit of hump being Alabama. Arkansas hasn't really gotten over any hump to this point. So a lot of fans that are against Chad Morris would hope for exactly what you're saying, them to lose down the stretch, them to lose 4 straight, not be able to form any type of momentum heading into recruiting, heading into the offseason, because that would leave Hunter Yurchek, his group of staff, a lot more likely to make a decision after the season if nothing good happened down the stretch. But 4 games left, we'll see what happens.
I like the 2 texts we just got from W and Wicks. He gave us a score prediction, Mississippi State 51, Arkansas 6. So then he also says, I didn't even want to get rid of Bielema. I won't understand hoping to lose. But it sounds like W is also being a little, in his mind, realistic about what he expects the final score to be. I'll tell you this. If it is a 51-6 loss, that was close to the score last year, wasn't it? It was pretty darn close to it. If you end up with another blowout loss, third straight against a team in Mississippi State that isn't very good this year, the best that they can hope for, I think right now is 6 wins, then all bets are off. I mean, you got to be competitive, at least be competitive against the Bulldogs, against Missouri, and you got to beat Western Kentucky. But if there is a blowout loss to either the Tigers or the Bulldogs, and I expect one to happen against LSU, the other Tigers, I expect that to happen against LSU, then I have a feeling, I know this week I've sort of wavered back and forth. I think Chad Morris keeps his job unless you lose to Western Kentucky or you get blown out by Mississippi State and or Missouri. And more text coming in here saying, how can you call yourself a real fan if you hope that Arkansas loses or just that you want your team to lose just because you don't like a coach? Hey, I mean, I think there's truth to that, but I think that there's some fans that also call themselves fans but just want to see a complete change in the leadership on the team. And the only way that they see that happening is more embarrassing losses.
Rooster in Boonville text in on the Cherokee Casino hotline. He says 24-21 Arkansas, Roll Tide. So I guess he's a Bama fan that lives out in Boonville, Arkansas. So maybe he's wishing Arkansas a little bit of good luck after spanking the crap out of the Razorbacks this past weekend in Tuscaloosa.
He's just feeling sorry for him. B from Clarksville says this game could be called the Battle of the Hot Seat, which, I mean, it sort of is. What do we call this, the Desperation Bowl?
I think
tomorrow?
That's what you labeled it as, yeah.
It sounds about right. He says Arkansas 27, Mississippi State 21.
And again, Tom Murphy asked Chad Morris the question after Wednesday's practice, him being number 2, Joe Moorhead being number 1 on the coach's hot seat. And Chad Morris is like, we can't worry about that, whatever. But it is interesting that not only a lot of Arkansas fans and Mississippi State fans think their respective coaches are on the hot seat, but it's also a national argument as well, Phil.
David in Fort Smith says Mississippi State 38, Arkansas 24. I think that's a very realistic final score right there, with Mississippi State ending up as the victor. Jeff in Greenwood goes 20-17 Mississippi State. He thinks Arkansas has shown nothing to make him believe that they can do anything to win a game. I'm right there with you, Jeff from Greenwood. This is not a team right now that has the feeling like they know how to win a game. Just imagine Arkansas in that last quarter with a lead. It's a team that hasn't been in that position. When's the last fourth quarter lead they had? San Jose State?
I think, yeah. No, they didn't have one against San Jose State because they were trailing the entire game, and then they tied it up, and then San Jose State scored, right? Or did I?
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
Has it really been since the Colorado State game?
Oof. Gosh. That's a long time ago because that was, what, in September?
Goodness gracious, September the 14th. This is not a team that's used to leading. So if they're in that position in the second half, it's like,
what do we do?
Where are we? How do you do this? Yeah, I mean, wow, I hadn't even thought of it in those terms. Tim in Fort Smith says 31-17 Bulldogs. Justin in Van Buren, his prediction is, does it really matter? He didn't give us a score prediction. He says Mississippi State has their best game of the year. Arkansas sinks further down the hole that Chad Morris has created. And I don't know if Justin is one of those fans that I was talking about that wants a blowout loss, but he is seeing one. And just in some of the things that he's texting to us, it makes me think he might be one of those fans who is kind of expecting and maybe, just maybe, hoping for a blowout loss. More text coming in, 24-21. Jeff in Greenwood says 24-21. They did lead against Texas A&M in the fourth quarter. That's right. So an A&M ended up coming from behind in that ball game to win 31-27. Sean in Mountain Home asking if we'd heard Mike in Stuttgart's call this morning.
I did, yeah.
I saw a couple of tweets about Michael in Stuttgart's call. He has been a Chad Morris defender from the start and is being a very patient fan right now.
Which is kind of odd because typically Michael over the years has been critical of certain coaches, particularly Mike Anderson. And when he calls into a program, he's typically criticizing the coach. But for whatever reason, he is all in on the Chad Morris train. Haven't heard from Michael in a while. Maybe he'll give us a call and kind of rehash what he talked about this morning, but I listened to it was the last segment of the show today on the Morning Rush, and he was just defending Chad Morris at every single stop, hoping that he clears the hump. And again, Arkansas fans listening, you'd absolutely take Chad Morris if he turned it around. Now, it'll take you to forgive. It'll take some of you a little bit longer to forgive him than others, which is understandable considering the North Texas, the San Jose State, and the Colorado State lock, and just to believe him. I get that, but if he somehow, some way turned this ship around and they started getting back to the good old days, people would be okay with it. And then Michael Stuttgart would just stand on the, Old Main screaming he was right. I hope he's right, because I'd much rather have Chad Morris succeed than them have to go to another route, another coach, and a much longer rebuild.
Could you just picture Michael in Stuttgart on Dixon Street wearing a sandwich board that says, "I defended Chad Morris for the first 2 years. I'm the one. That's me. I was the one defending him." And we've got some people texting in here saying that they agree with him as well. So, I mean, there are plenty of patient fans, and you see them on social media, and maybe they're a little quieter than the ones who are calling for somebody's head. Halftime is brought to you by Breeden RV in Van Buren. The year-end clearance sale continues right now at Breeden RV. Great deals on new RVs, travel trailers starting at $99.95, and fifth wheels that start under $30,000. Plus, Breeden RV is the only dealer that gives new customers maintenance for life, and it's for free. Plus, a great selection of pre-camp trailers and RVs to choose from. Now's the time to let Breeden RV in Van Buren show you how easy it can be. That's Breeden RV and Power Sports in Van Buren at BreedenRVs.com for more information. 877-377-6963, the Cherokee Casino hotline. We're taking your score predictions, and halftime continues after this short break.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
And I think another element of it is the Arkansas Razorback football program has been spoiled. Now, just before you start freaking out, let me explain. They've been spoiled because their past four quarterbacks essentially were fantastic quarterbacks. Ryan Mallett, Tyler Wilson, Brandon Allen, Austin Allen. You've had a good run of good quarterbacks. And the fact that you don't have one right now is really making you struggle.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Protection with possibilities. Have past losses made you cautious about taking on risk with your investments? Are you concerned that your savings are not generating the returns you need? If you are interested in protecting your money and capturing potential investment growth, contact Brad Lewis at United Financial Advisors at 242-7466 or ufadvisors.net to see whether market-linked CDs may be the right solution for you.
Securities and advisory service offered through Royal Alliance Associates, member FINRA, SIPC. United Financial Advisors is a marketing destination.
Hello, would you like me to find workout classes near you?
There are no stores that sell glasses within 10 miles of your location.
There's enough artificial in the world. That's why Michelob Ultra is brewed with no artificial colors or flavors. With just 95 calories and 2.6 carbs, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. 2019 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 grams carbs, 0.6 grams protein, and 0.0 grams fat for 12 ounces.
Make a hot spring spa part of your day-to-day routine now and discover what it means to get more out of each day. Hi, Tommy Kraft for our good friends at Burton Pools and Spas. In Fort Smith and in Springdale, Burton's is having an instant rebate event where you get $1,000 in instant rebate with the purchase of select hot springs models. Burton Pools and Spas is at 6121 Zero Street in Fort Smith and 725 South 48th Street in Springdale. Just imagine being able to come home from a hard day at work and to slip into your own hot spring spa from Burton Pools and Spas and let the stress of everyday life just slip away. And you're going to be totally impressed with all the features and options that are available on a hot spring spa. See it for yourself in Fort Smith or in Springdale and find out more about how you can get a $1,000 instant rebate with a purchase of a select hot spring spa today. That's Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and in Springdale, or find out more online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
Archery season is underway, and black powder season is just days away. And Jelco Outdoors has all your black powder rifles and supplies to get you ready for your hunt. Brands like CVA, Traditions, and Thompson Center. Stop by Jelco Outdoors, your premier locally owned sporting goods store in the River Valley, for all your fall hunting gear. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors. And remember, a great hunt begins at Jelco Outdoors.
Look your best with Perfecto Cleaners at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Count on same-day service, easy drive-through cover drop-off and pickup window, and fast turnaround on alterations. Perfecto Cleaners always goes the extra mile to ensure your clothes look their best, making you look your best. Be sure to clip their coupons in the yellow pages, and as always, in by 9 and out by 5 Monday through Friday. Perfecto Cleaners, just off Jenny Lind at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Perfecto Cleaners, making you look your best.
ESPN 95.3. Touchdown! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Well, the Bulldogs will kick it short, but they get it to McFadden back around the 7. He comes up to the 20, and he's off to the races. We were just talking about it. McFadden and Jones, they are mighty good, and McFadden shows it there. From the 7-yard line to the end zone, 93 yards for Darren McFadden. My goodness, they answer in a hurry.
Beautiful day to be outdoors. Sun is shining brightly. The rain has headed elsewhere. It is nice and cold, though, out there, so bundle yourself up. I put my Arkansas baseball sweatshirt on earlier today. And
do a little running?
No, not going to run today. Still got to move a bunch of boxes. I'm getting a workout up and down stairs, picking things up, making sure I pick it up properly, you know, so I don't wrench my back, and hopefully be able to sleep pretty well later on tonight in a brand new place. So, yeah, the moving continues. By the way, I saw an interesting tweet coming from Kendall Rogers from D1 Baseball. The Yankees are going all in on college pitching coaches. They tried to get interviews with Arizona pitching coach Nate Yeske, who'd been at Oregon State, and with Kirk Sarloos, the TCU pitching coach. Both said, no thanks. We're happy where we are. Think about that. They said no.
To the best baseball franchise in the history of the sport.
Yeah, said no to the Yankees. And here's the thing, too. It's like if you think that there's pressure on a pitching coach in New York, there's just as much, it seems like just as much pressure on college pitching coaches to win. You know, you got to win right then and there. TCU's got this history of winning recently.
Yeah.
They were kept out of Omaha for the first time in 4 years last season. Arizona's trying to get, you know, back to being top-level baseball program, and that's why they brought a guy like Yeske in. So I forget the name of the Michigan pitching coach, but he had the interview. So did Matt Hobbs. And the Yankees, they're going all in on college pitching coaches. It's really something else. This game is changing.
And I was asking you off air yesterday because I truly didn't know, how did Wes Johnson's staff do this season up in Minnesota? And you spoke to, they had a pretty good pitching staff.
Well, I mean, the Twins also, you know, led the majors in home runs, but they had a big turnaround with pitching, and a lot of it was because of Wes. Yeah, I mean, the guy knows what he's doing as far as coaching is concerned. So, I mean, that'll be really interesting to follow, really, for the next. You'd imagine. I mean, these hirings are done fairly quickly, like in the next week to 2 weeks. And then Arkansas baseball or some other baseball program is going to be in a position that they're just not used to, which is looking for a pitching coach in the middle of November. You know, and Dave had to do that last year. It worked out well with Matt Hobbs. But if you've got to do that 2 years in a row, I could see that being the sort of thing that, I mean, I don't know if it hurts recruiting or if it hurts coaching necessarily, because you're going to find a great coach to come to Arkansas nonetheless. Dave's so good at hiring coaches. It's a destination spot. But you want some continuity. And anybody that's connected to Arkansas baseball would not fault Matt Hobbs for saying yes to the New York Yankees for getting to the big leagues. I mean, this is a guy who I think Matt pitched briefly in the minor leagues, never sniffed the major leagues. Now you get an opportunity to do just that. Be amazing.
But, at the same time, kind of what you were talking to with Vitello going to Tennessee, Johnson going to the Twins, then you have Dave Jordan retiring. Arkansas's had a couple different coaches these last years move on. Remember what we've talked about with Justin Ross at Clemson before, an Alabama kid who elected to go be a Tiger because he felt like the continuity within the Clemson coaching staff, when they only lost like 2 coaches in 3 years, assistant-wise or something like that. That's what he was the deciding factor between Clemson and Alabama. Now, I don't know if baseball, if that translates the same way when you talk about hitting and pitching coaches. Obviously, Dave's probably going to retire here. I'd be shocked if he elected to go anywhere else and then continue on coaching baseball. But you wonder if guys keep moving on. If Matt Hobbs ultimately decides, I want to be the Yankees pitching coach, does that hurt recruiting even the slightest bit when it comes to Arkansas getting guys in there?
Well, and interesting we're talking about this because Dave Van Horn a couple hours ago had a media availability, and I see Pig Trail Nation tweeting out exactly about some of the stuff we're talking about. This comes from Dave Van Horn. Quote, Matt doesn't really have a desire to leave Arkansas. For him to leave, they would really have to take care of him financially. He did go talk with the Yankees, and Dave continued that he feels like Matt Hobbs will be the Arkansas pitching coach for a long time. So, I mean, again, it's interesting to put it in those terms. I mean, the Yankees would take care of him financially. I think, Major League pitching coaches make more than college pitching coaches do. But there's also the other thing about this is that I said there's high expectations on college pitching coaches and college programs. There's no franchise in Major League Baseball that has more expectations heaped on them by ownership, by fans, by media than the New York Yankees. Yeah. And to be the college pitching coach that's coming in to that feeding frenzy would be, upping the pressure and upping the expectations to the nth degree.
Yeah, new heights. And I think also, and I don't know if Matt Hobbs, I don't know in person, we've had 2 radio interviews. You get to talk to him a little more, Phil. But Arkansas, even from the outsiders that come in, once you get acclimated, and if you're winning and coaching, and that doesn't just apply for coaching, but if you just like your job, Arkansas is not a bad place to live. And I know there's certain areas that people wouldn't exactly be thrilled to be moving to, but I get asked by buddies all the time. It's like, hey, are you going to try to move to New York, L.A., these big-time radio markets? And I was like, why? What's the draw there? I wouldn't know anyone. Arkansas is my home. I really like working here. Why would I leave? First of all, I'm not talented enough to get any of those jobs. Second, this is like a good landing spot, especially for baseball, man. And I know Yankees, that is the prime time, creme de la creme, best baseball coaching job you could have. I'm sure Aaron Boone has a lot more stresses than he does before he became the manager. But that is the upper echelon of baseball. But it's not always about that for people. Some like just where they live. Some like the cost of living. Some just like being in Arkansas.
Some also like potentially working with younger players.
Yeah.
Kids, essentially, that haven't, been through the ringer like a major league pitcher sometimes does. And dealing with, trying to know an entire organization in and out, it would be a lot. And then, oh, by the way, there's the whole idea of, do you want to live in New York? It's for some people. I'd like to think that I could handle that, being on top of everybody else, taking the subway to work and everything that goes along with living in New York City. But I don't know. It would seem like it would take some adjusting.
I like Fort Smith. Traffic's not bad. Occasionally Rogers gets a little traffic, but like the compared to Nashville, when it took me, I was probably 10 miles away from my work, and it would take me 20, 25 minutes sometimes to get there, sometimes 30 because of traffic. That's frustrating. I get the draw to go vacation to some of these bigger time places. I've just never understood the people that really, really, really want to live in a massive big time city. I know Nashville's a little bigger step than Fort Smith was, which I moved back from Nashville to here, but it was in the South. It's just like a big southern city. I've always loved going on vacation, Chicago, New York. I'd never live in one of those cities, ever. You could offer me $1 million right now to do some radio job out there, and I wouldn't take it.
Well, and look, I mean, New York is one of those cities, I think, like Washington, D.C. at the same time. Some people treat Chicago this way, or Boston. Those are cities that you don't even need to bring your car to. Just sell the thing before you move.
My buddy did that. Yeah,
it's all about public transportation in those cities. It's a completely different way of life, but at the same time, Yankees are Yankees. One other interesting note from Dave Van Horn's media availability, he was asked about Casey Martin's injury. He had the surgery to remove the hamate bone in his left hand. It was broken while swinging a bat last month, and Casey's already back to swinging the bat, so there's good news. Dave says Casey Martin swung the bat yesterday. He's about 80% and looked good. So that's terrific news, because the hamate bone, while it is something you can bounce back from in a handful of weeks, it saps that power in the wrist a little bit. And I wonder if that'll hurt Casey Martin as we go throughout this season. By the way, a quick FOMO, if I can just do a quick FOMO for baseball. So that the cocktail party, Georgia, Florida football at it's not called the Gator Bowl anymore. What's the name of the Jacksonville football stadium? It was Alltel Stadium for a long time.
The basketball is Veterans Memorial, because that was back when Arkansas was in that round of 32 game in 2015. I don't know where the Tommy. You know what the Jacksonville arena is called? Not arena. The football where they play football is.
I still want to call it the Gator Bowl.
He's thinking it's the Gator Bowl too.
So he's thinking it's still called. Let's just call it the Gator Bowl.
Call it the Gator Bowl.
Well, in the same complex is the AA baseball park for the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. I still laugh every time I call them the Jumbo Shrimp. And it's called the Baseball Grounds of Jacksonville, and there is a cocktail party tonight. Georgia, Florida fall baseball. And apparently there have been over 7,500 tickets sold for this exhibition.
Wow.
Like 7,500. It's all, I mean, you get like, what, 60,000, 65,000 in for the football game? If like just 10% of them buy a ticket for the fall exhibition baseball game. That's exactly what's happened. So it's like taking the atmosphere from football, dialing it down a little bit, putting it in a much smaller venue in a game that doesn't matter at all. It won't count in the standings. It's just, hey, we love this Florida-Georgia thing. Let's have another cocktail.
And they're going to be drinking cocktails. They'll probably also be drinking some Coors Light. It's the world's most refreshing beer, cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged, always cold. It's got that cold activated can where you can see the Rocky Mountains on it. You stick it in the fridge, you stick it in some ice, the mountains turn blue, and that means your beer's as cold as the Rockies. And, Phil, there's something you do when the mountains turn blue. I forgot. What do you do?
Well, it's one less than three. You grab two.
Exactly right. Coors Light, made to chill.
I made you think for a minute there.
Just
By the way,
little.
I appreciate Dwight in Fort Smith letting us know that it is TIAA Bank Field where the Jacksonville Jaguars played. Used to be called Everbank Field. Can we just call it the Gator Bowl for crying out loud? TIAA Bank Field is just a little bit too much. All right. We got some football picks coming up next. And stick around, see just how bad I can be here on Halftime.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Ty Sports Radio.
Great camping weather is just around the corner, so at Breeden RV in Van Buren, we're having our year-end clearance sale right now. Get great deals on new RVs like travel trailers that start at $99.95 and fifth wheels starting under $30,000. Breeden RV is the only dealer that gives our new customers maintenance for life for free. We also have a great selection of pre-camp trailers and RVs to choose from. Now is the time to camp, and now is the time to let Breeden RV in Van Buren show you just how easy it can be. Breeden RV, your home for maintenance for life.
Oh, that's an RV.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half-price. And all beers on tap are half-price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative is excited to introduce Wave Rural Connect, bringing state-of-the-art fiber internet, TV, and phone services right into the homes of all their members. Get amazing fast fiber internet 100 megabits for only $49.95 per month, or 1 gigabit for $79.95 per month. Go to waveruralconnect.com to find out where they're installing in your area, or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Have you been looking for your next place to call home and just haven't found the right one? Then it's time to check out the properties at Trinity Multifamily. With a variety of apartments, duplexes, townhomes, and houses, there is surely one to fit your needs. Whether it's in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas, or Central Arkansas that you are looking at, they have you covered. Give them a call today. Trinity Multifamily, 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
This is Mark Hurst. Late fall and early winter are my favorite times of the year. High school football playoffs, time spent with my sons at deer camping in the duck blind, and the holiday season begins. November and December are also great times to take advantage of any remaining dental insurance benefits before the first of the year. Give us a call today at 474-1972 and let us help you maximize your remaining insurance benefits. Or if you don't have dental insurance, ask about our dental discount plan. Hurst Family Dental Care, a name you know and a name you can trust.
Tri-Hill Turf offers the highest quality turf and pest services. Hey, you say those are big words. Well, let's see. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has a company agronomist, state and nationally certified technicians, free soil testing, and they even have precision GPS guided application equipment. Now that's high tech. For over 30 years, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has used the latest application technology, and they strive for turf and pest excellence. They are your local turf and pest experts. Call the local team at 782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest.
ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your evening on the Avenue. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Arkansas on the ground. It's Hammond. Oh. Hammond's breaking free. It's going to be a foot race. One man to beat. Touchdown, Arkansas. 88 yards.
All right, Ty. I think I might have figured out a way where I can catch up to you here in our picks.
Are we increasing the point totals?
I think I figured out a way here.
Okay.
So Ty leads me 27-16. You know this is November 1st, right? So it's the start of Movember. You heard of Movember? It's the month that men grow mustaches to raise money for prostate cancer awareness and for prostate cancer research. So by the end of the month, I'm going to grow a mustache. You do the same. By the end of the month, the person who's got the larger mustache, thicker mustache, gets 10 points in our picks. What do you say? Can we do this one?
Not agreeing to that.
Why not?
Because my mustache looks... How do I put this?
I finally found a way to come back here. This is the one way to do it because my picks are not working. Maybe we'll add it to the Moneyball pick. We'll call it the Money Mustache.
I literally, it's so frustrating too because my facial hair download doesn't look bad, but just it's peach fuzz, man.
If you want to call it the Money Mustache, I will let you.
Stinking blonde hair, man.
I will let you tape coins to your upper lip and call that a Money Mustache.
It's just, I just want to be able to grow a 5 o'clock shadow all the way around, and the stupid blondness up top just won't let me.
All you need is a pencil, just a pencil. Just scratch it on those cheeks a little bit, and there's your 5 o'clock shadow. So I have finally figured out a way back without having to do football picks. It's ingenious. I should have done this last year.
I just don't know if I can go along with it, Phil. It almost seems like you're cheating a little bit. This is an element that you just have that I happen to not possess. Do I get 10 points if my hair grows longer than your does in the month of November?
Well, I guess that's the way to even it out.
Yeah.
That's right. You can. All right, so then we'll do it this way. You keep growing your hair on the top of your head. I'll grow the beard and the mustache for the month, and we'll see what's thicker by the end of the month.
Fair.
Or maybe I'll just try to beat you in the picks because once it comes down to bowl season, I'm gonna run the table in bowl season. That might be the only way that I actually beat you.
What we can do,
which I force you to watch The Exorcist.
Yeah. What we can do for bowl season is the confidence picks when it comes to ESPN.com's bowl pick'em, where if you think this team is absolutely going to win, you get 32 points. We can label all the bowls in favor of our confidence pick. That way you have a chance 32 points, 31 points, however, and so on. We do it like that. That way we even it out a little bit more if you want to do it like
you're
that.
You're being very generous in allowing me an opportunity to try to come from behind here,
Well,
because I really need this chance.
So if I'm going to have to watch The Exorcist, does that mean that the devil's juice or whatever the heck Brett and Spyro was talking about, is that back in play since I'm having to do something that's going to be so painful and
I just don't want. Look, if you watch The Exorcist, you're not going to go to the hospital. That's the maybe you will. I don't know. Maybe you'll be so frightened that you become you'll become catatonic and you won't be able to move, and we'll have to drag you to the hospital to find a way to wake you
What
up.
a loving image to think about.
That hey, The Exorcist is scary enough. And with you never really watching a frightening movie in your life, yes, maybe that would happen. So maybe we do have two things that can send us to the hospital. I'll eat something spicy enough to melt my voice box, in which you'll have to do the entire show for a whole week, and you can watch a movie that'll send you to the hospital. I think this is working out well.
I think you're over-exaggerating your pain threshold when it comes to spicy food. You can handle it. You're a Yangzer. You're a Pittsburgh kid. You got it. I believe 100% in you. You suffered through 10-degree ice water last year. It wasn't 10 degrees, but whatever it was.
It was in the 20s, that's for sure.
Let's replay your reaction to when you went through that water.
I hate you, Ty. Yes, I did. And thanks for you remember what I looked like going into that water. I was prancing. That was prancing to a T. By the way, me being from Pittsburgh has nothing to do with my ability to eat spicy food.
Yeah,
none whatsoever.
It's what do we call
it? It's the people from Buffalo, New York that have to be able to handle that.
But this is a Yankee Southerner thing. You're supposed to be this. I'm supposed to be this. Even though I'm a city as I'll get out, I'm supposed to be this country Southerner. You're supposed to be this hardcore Northerner. That's why we get such a good program together, because we're so opposite.
Keep in mind, I've lived here I've lived in Arkansas for 4 fewer years than you've been alive. So I am as Southern as you are.
Hey,
at least I'd like to think I am.
You can't take the Yankee out of the Yankee, just like you can't take the Southern out of the Southerner. Even though I'm probably one of the most city boys that you've ever met in your entire life.
All right, let's figure out these picks here. I'm going to start in the Pac-12. Oregon State is having themselves a decent season, second year under Jonathan Smith. The Beavs have got a couple of conference wins, and they are taking their talents to Tucson, Arizona to battle Kevin Sumlin's Wildcats. They had to make a change at defensive coordinator this week. Wildcats gave up 144 points in 3 consecutive losses. Arizona's favored by 6 at home. I'm going to take the Beavers as a road dog. I don't know if they'll win, but I see them covering a 6-point spread.
I'm also going to start in the Pac-12. Oregon's taking on USC. Oregon is 4-point favorites in this one. And I don't remember who I was talking to about this, but they're holding on to the fact that they think USC's going to win. Oregon's, if you look at their schedule, last couple games, they've gotten a little tighter because they face stiffer competition. This is going to be a tough football game. Remember, the Trojans beat Utah earlier this season, snapped their undefeated streak. But I think Justin Herbert goes into the Coliseum, and they beat Oregon by 5 or more.
All right, I'm going to go in the SEC for this one. Tennessee's at home against Alabama Birmingham. Watch out for Bill Clark's Blazers. They're 6-1. Their one loss to Ty Story in Western Kentucky, but they've won 3 straight since. Tennessee, and we know about their home struggles against out-of-conference teams this year, they're a 12.5-point favorite, so I'm going to go with another road dog, which is kind of a theme to these picks. Alabama, Birmingham plus 12.5 at Tennessee is my second pick.
College Game Day will be on Beale Street. Tons of drink specials. If you're in the Northeast Arkansas area or just want to go to College Game Day, head over to Memphis. There is going to be a ton going on tomorrow, and then you get a good college football game. SMU at Memphis in the Liberty Bowl. Memphis are 5.5-point favorites. I think with the atmosphere, I think Mike Norvell gets this job done. I'm taking the Tigers to win by 6 or more and defeat the SMU Mustangs, give them the first loss of the season.
I feel like I've had a pretty good read on the Pitt Panthers this year. They've played a lot of really tight games. Last week, I wanted to take Miami as the road dog in Pittsburgh. I went against it. I didn't pick that game, and Pitt ended up choking against Miami, losing by 5. It's the same Miami team, by the way, that Georgia Tech beat a couple of weeks ago, and it's Georgia Tech hosting Pitt in Atlanta. and Pitt is a 7.5-point road favorite. I don't like that. Even though Pitt is 3-0 against the spread on the road, I'm going to take Georgia Tech as a home dog, plus 7.5.
Kansas State, Kansas. The Wildcats are road favorites, 5 points going into Lawrence. I think that Les Miles squad, they're going to be riding high after the Texas Tech win last week. If you remember, Texas Tech had that game tied heading into OT. Their guy tries to pick up a block kick. Kansas recovers it, gets to kick it again. They beat Texas Tech. Also went down to the wire with Texas earlier this season. But I liked what I saw from Skylar Thompson against the Oklahoma Sooners. Chris Kleiman is a really good coach, formerly the North Dakota State head coach. I think he comes into Lawrence, Kansas, and beats Les Miles by 6 or more, Phil.
Michigan and Maryland getting a call it a rivalry. It's just kind of funny. The game is being played in the Big House, and Michigan is favored by a little more than 3 touchdowns, minus 21.5. They looked really good last week against Notre Dame. Maryland has dropped 5 of their last 6 games and have been beaten by the likes of Purdue by 26 and by Penn State by 59. I'm going to take Michigan to cover 21.5 points at home against the Terps.
I think that's a good pick. It was so weird because Maryland started out the season so hot under Mike Locksley.
They were ranked.
And then
they got ranked early in the season.
Yeah, it's just fallen apart since then. All right, my money ball pick is going to be a little bit of the Arkansas-Mississippi State. I'll tell you, Phil and I will tell you the prediction of that game, what we think about it next. But I'm taking the over in it. I mentioned it earlier. 58 points is the over-under. Mississippi State is ranked 98th in scoring defense. Arkansas is at 108th. Yes, their offenses have not been good or consistent so far this season, but something tells me this game's going to be high scoring tomorrow. And I think if you get, whether it's KJ Jefferson or John Stephen Jones, I think there might be a little more offensive output that you see from the Razorbacks tomorrow. So I'm going to say that Arkansas and Mississippi State goes over 58. That's my money ball pick this week, Phil.
Hogs averaging 22.5 points per game. Mississippi State averaging 25.5 points. You're going to need both of them to get over that, and that'll probably happen. I'll join you with that. All right, so make sure you download our podcast later on today. We have a podcast that puts the highlights out of halftime every Monday through Friday. It is sponsored by Jeff's Clubhouse. Get it on your Apple Podcast app. Anywhere you download podcasts, you'll find not just halftime, but the morning rush every single day. When we return, halftime puts a cherry on the top. We got score predictions from Arkansas, Mississippi State. You can get them in as well. Stay tuned. We'll wrap it up after this.
More halftime in just a moment.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the Chicken Pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
Is your home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a free weatherization program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, our crews will install measures that will save you money. The services provided through this program are absolutely free to qualifying homes. If you could benefit from free home weatherization improvements, call OG&E at 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741.
This year, the Home Depot can help bring the holidays home for free with free delivery on online holiday decor like artificial Christmas trees, big, small, white lights or multicolored, 140 varieties. Pick one out and we'll deliver it over the river, through the woods, right to your door for free. Free delivery on online holiday decor only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only. See store for details.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith reminds motorists that texting can be more than a minor distraction. Text messaging has been linked to serious accidents, including a train crash that killed 25 people and a trolley crash that injured nearly 50 people. In both instances, drivers were texting seconds before the crash. Keep your eyes on the road and stay alive. This message is from Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith. Reminding everyone, don't tempt fate, that text can wait.
Hi, folks. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources. Fall is my favorite time of the year. Football, fine weather, and my chance to flip the lot. We're out to sell every single car in our Rath Road Ready inventory and flip the lot during our fall clearance. That's right, every vehicle must go. To make it happen, we're discounting our entire inventory with savings up to $4,300 below retail. Even our special purchase vehicles are included, like 2018 Hyundai Elantra SELs for only $13,991. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with buy 3, get 1 free on all tires and 50% off brake pads. Don't miss out on the savings. Help us flip the lot. Get the Rath Road Ready vehicle that's perfect for you and save up to $4,300 during the fall clearance at Arkansas's #1 rated and reviewed independent dealer, Rath Auto Resources, and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price affects trade allowance.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while or you haven't had the best of experience with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney in Family Dentistry. They take care of it all. Crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. They even offer oral consciousness sedation available for your comfort. That's Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today, 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
Keep your stuff yours. Would you spend less than $500 to secure your home? Guardtronic offers a home security package for only $425 and $19.95 a month. If an alarm goes off, Guardtronic makes the call to get you help 24/7, 365. Celebrating 60 years in business, Guardtronic is a family-owned business, now in the third generation of folks who want to make sure your stuff stays yours. Call them today, 785-2323, or visit guardtronic.com. License E050.
ESPN 95.3. Touchdown! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
McFadden. Say goodbye. Darren McFadden, 80 yards, touchdown.
Cherry on the top of halftime today is your score predictions, and we'll give you exactly the same of what we think will happen tomorrow, 3 o'clock, Arkansas, Mississippi State. Pre-game, Arkansas game day is 10 o'clock in the morning. Learfield IMG pregame begins at 12 noon. And, of course, your reaction on Hog Reaction here on ESPN Arkansas after the postgame show is concluded. Ross in Paris says 38-21 Mississippi State. Bruce in Fort Smith says he doesn't know what to give as far as a score prediction is concerned because you don't know who the quarterback is going to be. He can't wait to see what the, quote, special teams, unquote, have in store this week. I think Adam from Wynn says Chad Morris gets his first SEC win, 27-24. I think we've been through all of our score predictions here. I think Ben Hicks is going to start the game. I don't know if he'll finish it. I think that he will come off the field now and again with the packages that I think have been created for K.J. Jefferson and for John Stephen Jones. I think Arkansas will be able to move the ball a little bit in this game, Ty. The question continues for Arkansas, can you hold on to the ball? Mississippi State has forced 10 fumbles this year that they've recovered, though none of the last two games. And can you score once you get close? I think the Hogs will be able – look, they got inside the red zone once last week against Alabama. Didn't get inside the red zone very much against Auburn. I think they'll have opportunities to score. The question is, can you finally punch it in when you get there? So I see Arkansas gathering up some yardage. I'm a little iffy on whether or not they'll be able to keep up with what Mississippi State is going to do. Because I think, Ty, Mississippi State is going to run, and I think they're going to run with success.
So you mentioned Ben Hicks possibly being the starting quarterback tomorrow. This is a similar situation to when Cole Kelly was looked at after the the North Texas game as anemic. Like, you cannot start Cole Kelly after that game. And I think with Nick Starkel throwing the 3 interceptions against Alabama, doing what he's done to this season outside of his lone bright spot against Colorado State in the second half against Ole Miss, I think Chad Morris is in a situation where fans will just boo bird after boo bird tomorrow if Nick Starkel is announced starting quarterback and comes out first. Ben Hicks, it's not going to be exactly the most thrilling vote of confidence from fans if he starts tomorrow, but it's definitely a lot better that the fans will feel if he trots out the starter than Nick Starkel. They just want to see at this point. I don't think fans want anything. I think if you ask, if we polled them, who do you want to see tomorrow? KJ Jefferson, John Stephen Jones, Ben Hicks, Nick Starkel. Nick Starkel would get less than 5%. Ben Hicks would probably get about 15 to 20, and then the rest would fall on the shoulders of both KJ Jefferson and John Stephen Jones, Phil.
So if I gave you a number, you tell me what this number is. 807. Take a guess. What do you think 807 is?
Total yards between the two schools tomorrow?
I thought maybe you were going to go with like an area code from California, but I don't know if that's right or wrong. It's the number. It's the total yardage on the ground for the last 3 games against Arkansas defensively. Kentucky ran for 330, Auburn ran for 298, and Alabama ran for 179. So all you do is put that together. That's 807 yards allowed rushing in the last 3 games. And you knew that Kentucky was going to run. The question was, are you going to hand it off, or are you going to let Lynn Bowden do his thing? You knew Auburn was going to run. Same thing. You just didn't know who it was that was going to run. Remember, they had 8 different players carry the ball at least once. And, of course, they've got Bo Nix, the running quarterback. Mm-hmm. Alabama, is a little bit of a different thing, but you knew they weren't going to lean heavily on Mac Jones, so you knew they were going to run. This is the same story here, Ty. It's the same story as Kentucky and Auburn. I think a little bit different from the Alabama game. The biggest question is, can Arkansas tackle? Can they stop the run? Can they – I don't even know if it's a matter of control the line of scrimmage. Can they compete at the line of scrimmage? And the answer, at least in these last 3 weeks, has been no.
Thomas from Marshall doesn't think so. He texted on the Cherokee Casino hotline, says 44-17 Mississippi State. That would mean a cover for me, so I'd be kind of happy about that. Obviously, I'd rather see Hogs come out on top than Mississippi State win this football game. But if you listen, it was inexcusable what Lynn Bowden was going to be able to do, or what he did. Being a first-time starting quarterback, you knew what he was going to do. And I only think I threw 11 passes, 7 for 11 in that football game to still almost get 200 rushing yards on the ground. Auburn, yes, they have a good rushing attack, but for Bo Nix as a true freshman to do basically whatever he wanted to in that football game and the offense running the football, that's inexcusable. And then Alabama, I mean, you got to put some pressure on Mac Jones, but they just ran some reverses with Judy, Smith, Ruggs, and Waddle, and then ran it with Najee Harris and Brian Robinson. I mean, it was just easy for him. That can't happen against a true freshman. You somehow, some way have to make Garrett Schrader beat you. And if that means stacking the box with 7 or 8 every single time, then do it. Because nothing you've done at this point in these last 3 games has done anything to actually prohibit the other offenses from pounding you game after game, play after play.
I mean, you do have questions on the offensive line. Colton Jackson retired. Ty Clary missed a good chunk of the Alabama game. Austin Capps has been hurt. The right side of the offensive line has sort of held together. The left side has been, more than anything, a question mark because you're just never quite sure who's going to be out there. And maybe you can run against this Mississippi State team. It's not a great defensive team. What they do well is strip the ball away. But A&M ran for over 200 yards against them. Tennessee ran for 190. I think Arkansas can run the ball against Mississippi State, but I think part of the question is, just like you're saying, you want Arkansas to put an extra man up in the box, force Schrader to beat them by throwing the ball. Will Mississippi State respect any portion of Arkansas's quarterback play, or are they just going to stack the box and say, you know what, your quarterbacks right now have been making bad decision after bad decision. You got a guy, if Hicks is the one who starts, he's not a threat to really throw deep very often. So I kind of wonder how Mississippi State's going to line it up, because, I mean, that is a team that has been beset by injuries on the defensive line. I know their secondary's been injured too. So I think Arkansas will be able to move the ball and score a little bit. But I don't trust this team inside the 20-yard line.
Whether it's Shoop or Chavis, depending on what team you're looking at, they got to make the quarterback beat him, and it's going to be whichever defensive coordinator of those two comes out the victor. I would think that that's going to be the winner of this football game, right? Whichever defense has a better game, whichever holds the other one, is probably going to win this football game, because you have a true freshman in Garrett Schrader coming into Fayetteville, Arkansas, trying to beat the Razorbacks, and then the quarterback situation still up the air. Doug in Mount Home texted on the Cherokee Casino hotline. Phil, he says if keeping the starting quarterback a secret made a difference, our team would be top 10. So I don't know. He's a little bit of sarcasm there, as you know, but it's just a situation where defense got to show up. Like, you've gotten pummeled 3 straight games. Come out with a mentality. Come out with not an arrogance. Come out with a ticked off performance that you are not the type of defense that gets put to. You got to prove it sometime. Why not do it against the Bulldogs?
So, and of course, Hogs have lost the last 2 games against Mississippi State, dropped 6 of the last 7, and have had a lot of trouble stopping Mississippi State from scoring. 52-6 last year, 58-42 win a couple of years ago, 51-50 loss in 2015. I think this. What's the over/under? Was it 58?
58, yeah.
So, all right, I'm going to put my score prediction out there. And I forget the listener that gave us this score prediction, but I thought he was right on. I'm looking at 38-27, Mississippi State. And I think the Bulldogs will have success running the football. I think the Hogs will have some success offensively. But this right now is not a team. I've said I'm not picking Arkansas to win until they actually do win. And I might have trouble picking them to win against Western Kentucky, just because this is not a team that knows how to win football games.
That's the same philosophy that I've used with Texas A&M the last couple of years. Until they actually beat the Aggies on the football field, I'm not picking Arkansas to win that game. And unfortunately, it's now applicable to every single game that Arkansas plays until they get that first elusive SEC win. I like you. I think the Bulldogs are going to win this game. I got 37-24. That's what I text Clay Henry for our Hogs Illustrated prediction this past week so he could put it in the magazine. I just think that Mississippi State's going to be able to come in here, unfortunately, and get some rushing yards like we were talking about that Arkansas needs to hold up. I think whoever starts at quarterback will make some mistakes, not because they're making bad plays, but because they don't have time, because the offensive line is not going to give them the allotted time needed to make a downfield pass or to make a first down achieving pass. So I'm taking Mississippi State tomorrow afternoon, Phil.
Well, I think it'll be an entertaining game. I think it'll be a frustrating game, too, for Arkansas fans. But, hey, it should be a beautiful day for football. It is homecoming. The basketball team is opening up a practice at Bud Walton Arena before the football game. So I'd be interested, maybe even more interested, to see what these Eric Musselman practices are like, because they're known to be legendary, and they're not scrimmaging. I think that'd be kind of cool to watch. If you get a chance, you're going to go?
Yeah, well, I will be doing Arkansas game day. Me and Tommy got that tomorrow at 10 a.m. But for those, like Phil said, if you're up in the Fayetteville, Northwest Arkansas area and you want to see this open practice, 11:15 tomorrow, 11:30.
I think that's what it was.
So yeah, go out and watch it. You're probably not going to get a chance to do it the rest of the season, so take advantage while you can.
All right, Ty. Get working on that mustache, okay? I'll get working on the top of my head. We'll see how it works this month.
All right, buddy.
Have a great weekend. For Ty, I'm Phil. We'll talk about it with you on Monday. Get up, get out, and get better.
Looking for a bit of